Hello and welcome to our third session about LUXORliving. Today I would like to introduce LUXORplay to you. So for those of you who haven't seen the previous session, just a short explanation. So in the first session we have provided here a complete overview about LUXORliving in general, what kind of products, what kind of functions and so on are available. In the second session I have introduced, I have configured with LUXORplay my demo case, and I have configured, the living room in that during that session. Today, now with LUXORplay, I would like to show you how to use the visualization, how to configure it, what kind of features and functions are behind it. I also will give you some hints and tips and tricks. So what's needed to use LUXORplay in a very efficient way. So let me first show you what I have done in between. So as I've mentioned, I have done really the configuration of the living room, but in between also I have configured all the other rooms, and that's something what I just would like to show you. Therefore, I am opening LUXORplay. So when I'm opening LUXORplay, then I also need the project file. If you do not have the project file, then you can't work with it. And I have that project file right now stored here locally on my PC, but in case that you do not have that project file available, or that you are uncertain if it's really the latest version, there is a very nice feature in LUXORliving because this project file is also stored on the IP1 when you prepare the visualization. And I would like to show you how you can very easily retrieve that or import that project file from the IP1. Therefore, just go here under File, Import Project to your IP1. Here you can see it. Say OK. You have to provide the password. This is required. This is mandatory. And then just click on Import. And you can save it. I have it also already stored, so I have to rename it locally. And now let's have a look into the project file, the living room. That's what I have done in between with all these switching, dimming, blinds and heating functions, but also the functions around the scenes. And especially these two functions I will use later on when I show how to use scenes in LUXORplay. What else have I done? Okay, I've set up the dining room, I did the setup of the bedroom. For example, in the bedroom, we have decided, okay, in the bedroom we are using the Ion 4, which is a push button sensor with a temperature sensor included. And this helps you really also to control the temperature in the bedroom. And you have 4 push buttons which you can very flexible configure. What else? So we have here the lavatory with 1 switching light, and the corridor also a switching light, kitchen with 2 lights, and so on. Also the terrace with a switching light, so on. Now I would like to show you on the demo case how to use it. Okay, here again, that was my panic function. Okay, now you can also see here is a staircase delay configured. So now I would like to show you by using the Ion 4 how to control the bedroom. So here I have that light on and off. Then I have here with that button, I have here the blinds which I can control. Is up and down. Yeah, and also all the other functions. Also here on the Ion 8, the room controller, I have, for example, also configured that I can switch on and off my outdoor lights. Let me just see where they are. Outdoor lamp, both on and off, so I can either switch them together or separately. And also here I have the lights in the kitchen. So you can see, okay, now it's fully configured. Yes, and this is very helpful, yeah, to continue with the introduction of LUXORplay, so that we really have a lot of functions which you can use for it. So LUXORplay. Typically, you are using LUXORplay on your smartphone or on your tablet, iPad or whatever. So it's available for iOS and for Android. You can very easily just either get it from the Play Store for for Android devices or from the App Store for the iOS devices. So that would be the way how you install it on your tablet or smartphone. But here for me, I would prefer, because just because of that setup, what I'm using here, it's easier to run the LUXORplay version on my Windows PC. And this is also exactly the same version which is available for the smartphones, is available for Windows as well. And you can also download it in a similar way from our Theben web page. Let me show it to you. So therefore I will go to my browser again. I will say LUXORliving. LUXORliving.de. Again, I will go via the German web page, go to the English. And LUXORplug we have found under installers, because this is a tool which is mainly designed for the installers who really install the product, and for the owners of the building which are using LUXORplay. So the software for these are under building owners or whatever. And you can find here LUXORplay. I will click to it and you will get to that web page. Very similar also to as LUXORplug. And here you find the latest version of LUXORplay for Windows. For the Android and for the iOS devices, please go to the stores. If you have downloaded it, you have to run the installation. Also here, in most cases, this 46-bit version is appropriate for your device. After you have installed it, yeah, you just start LUXORplay. Also, after installation, we'll typically copy icon to your desktop. I have already copied it to my taskbar. Click on LUXORplay. It will, yes, also here you can see the latest the version which is installed. And due to the fact that I have not been logged onto my system right now, LUXORplay does not know which account it should use. So for the initial setup, you have to use the administrator account, and then later on you can also configure here additional users, but only with the administrator you can really do administrative tasks. So I will click on log on as an administrator, and with that you are connecting via the local network to your environment. Later on, or if you want to use it via the cloud system, then you have to go to the cloud and you can connect to your system via a cloud service. But then you have to first register your system in the cloud itself. As I log on as administrator, and if the system should keep or remember your password, then just click here and say log in. Yeah, it will connect to the system, and now you can see, okay, what you have configured. So here you see my system, my smart home. I will first have a short look into the settings. So settings, okay, here you configure the language. Here you have the possibility to define the user administration if you want to have additional users. I will show that at the end of the session. Then we have here a two-stage or two-step activation for panic, for scene, for absence, and so on, that you can either activate or deactivate. So especially for panic and probably for holiday activation, the two-step activation makes sense, so that you do not start that by that you will not start it by incident. Okay, wind speed, you can configure here how it should be shown, and the interface, how your IP1 is configured, the IP address, and also here you can find the current version of the firmware of the IP1. If you have any problems or probably a call with the hotline, they may ask you which firmware version is installed. You will find it here. Then software information about LUXORplay itself. It's also here very easy to find. And in case that you want to verify or you want to change the time, go to here, and then you have two possibilities. Either every time when LUXORplay will be started, it can automatically compare the time between your local system and the IP1, and if this time differs too much, the time will be reset. Or you can also just go here to manual, then you set the time manually with date and time, say save, and then you are done. That's up to you how you do it. So in general, I would recommend that you are doing it via a system time, that you say set time and date automatically, but please set this mark only on with one device, a device, probably a smartphone, where the time is also very exact. And yeah, do not configure or set that this marker here for on many systems. Otherwise, if the time differs too much between the device, it could happen that the time will bounce between the two systems. So set it to one system, activate it, and then it's fine and great. Say save. Okay, and now let's have a short look how to use LUXORliving. And therefore, I would like to change my view that you can better, that you can better see where we have what I'm doing here in LUXORplay, and you will see the behavior of my demo case. So we have also logged onto the system, and yeah, in here on the home screen of LUXORplay, you can find all the information about the weather station. For right now, the temperature sensor measures 22.9 degrees and no wind. Now I will just move the wind, and you can see, okay, here the wind alarm happens. Or if I'm just with my with the humidity of my hand. I can also just raise the wind alarm, which you also can see. And also the brightness, you can see very easily. For example, now I will put my finger on one of the sensors, on the right sensor, and the brightness is going down. And just put it again, remove it, then you will see it's going up again. So that's the way how you also can see how the if also the values are measured properly. So now we will use the LUXORplay app. I have here one button. This is the panic button, and when I'm at that, here we can also see the 2 steps or 2-stage activation. So first I click on panic, and now you have to slide it to the right so that it's really activated. Now panic is active. And to deactivate it, you have to do it again, and it's working. But also you can set it here, and for example, a moment, blip, and I can also switch panic again off manually here. This works as well. Okay, now we will go into the rooms. As I have shown last time, I have here the configuration of my living room, and I can switch on and off or dim the lamp or switch the dimming lamp completely off. I can run up and down the blinds, or I can also just increase the temperature, and when I put the target temperature above 26.1 degree, then you will see that the red LED, this LED here, will be switched on. But also when I'm switching the lights manually, for example the switching light or the dimming light, I will switch it on. Then you can also see that the values will be probably shown in the visualization, or if I run the blinds up, then also they are going up and so on. That's what you expected. And now here, that's new with the door status. So I have here one switch which will show me, okay, what is the status of the door. I can open and close the door, and you will see here now the door is closed, the door is open. Yeah. This also will show you, okay, the status of the door. That could be used for a garage door or for all kinds of sensors what you can do. And we do not just show open or close, so binary information. So also if you have any values, if you measure temperature, for example, of a small pool outside, where you have a temperature sensor in it, then also that would be something which you can do. Okay. Go back to dining room. Also here in the dining room, I have here the light. I can switch down the temperature and so on. It's the bedroom. That's what I have shown you already with the light or the blinds which you can run. Stop, turn the lamella and do an up again. I don't think that I have to go through all the system. So I would like to show you now some additional functions. So for example, I do have here an outdoor light, a garden light. And this garden light, which I can switch on and off, I would like it's in front of my main door, main entry, and I would like to switch it on and off based on a timer function. Therefore, just go to the timer, say time switch, and I have here already a time switch configured. For example, it will be switched on in the evening at 8 o'clock p.m. or 20 o'clock in the evening, all weeks, so all days per week, and it will switch off also then in the morning at 8 o'clock. You can also mark here if it should also be activated if you are absent, so if you have activated vacation or holidays, that's what you can do. And to add a timer is really very easy. So for example, in the night during 11 p.m. and 5 o'clock in the morning, it will also should be off. So I will say that here it should be off and plus, and in the morning it will be switched on again. Yeah, and now you can see it very nicely, okay, how it works when it will be switched on and off. So very simple, and if it should be different on one specific day, then you just deactivate it for these days. Yeah, so no big deal normally. Yeah, not really difficult to set this up. We have another very interesting function, and I would like to show that with the dining room. So dining room is probably here not the best use case, but I have a dimming light just in the dining room. For example, if you have also a dimming light in the bedroom, and if you woke up in the night and probably have to go out or to the restroom or to the toilet, and you switch on the light and it starts with 100%, then it is not really funny, because you are in the sleeping mode and then you are awake and probably you have some problems to get asleep later on. So therefore, we can configure for all the dimming functions under time switch also plus. And then I have here a function, for example, the dimming limit. And I will say the dimming limit should be activated at this point of time, at 10 p.m. in the night. And it should be, the dimming limit should then be 5%. And in the morning, you will then set an additional dimming limit. Again with 100%, so that you can again use the full power of your dimming lights. You will set it again in the morning at 6 p.m. And that's fine. So I have here in that system again another dimming limit, but these are the values I have just set. You can also very easily, if you push the manual button, then you can also dim the light higher manually. This is possible, but if you just do it, switch it on via on and off, then the dimming limit will be applied to that to the value. And also if you switch it on, then it will be during the night at 10%. So next step are the scenes. So why scenes, or what are scenes? So scenes are nothing else than a predefined set of parameters for different functions. And you can just with one click either in the app or with one touch on a push button or wherever, you can launch this parameter set. And so this allows you that you probably completely set one room just with one set, with one click in a specific mode. And that's what I would like to show you right now, for example, as in the living room. I would like to just have one scene. I will say it's my TV scene. And this is a scene, this is a setup of the room, which I just would like to launch every time when I want to use my TV. And the setup will be in that way. I will go to the living room. Okay, the ceiling light should be on. The wall light should be 50%. My blinds should be 40%. And I would like to have a temperature 28 degrees, just as an example. And this should be the setup for my living room when I want to watch TV. I go to Scene, say plus, and I say that's my TV scene. And I click here, I want to have it as a favorite because I'm using that very often and it should occur on the home screen. Yeah, and in the living room, just the values which I just have set, I will just set the marker, say OK, go back, and that's it. Yeah, so this scene is configured. And now I would like to have a second. Yeah, and this configuration I want to either to launch via this button, or I also want to launch it via this scene button on in my room, which I have defined. So, and here I can also assign a trigger to that function. And I will say with that button where I have, which I have named Living Room Scene 1, this button should launch that scene. I say OK. I will add a second scene where I just say Living Room off. Everything should be off. Also should be on the main screen. I go to the participants. And now, in the previous case, I have set the values in advantage in the room itself, and then I just marked all the participants. Now, I also mark the participation, but I can override the status. So this participant, the ceiling light, should be off in that scene. The wall light, which is right now 50%, should be 0%. The blinds should be completely, the height should be at 0%. And the heating, because I want to save energy, no longer 28 degrees, now it should be 21 degrees. Yeah. So I just have entered all the values which I really prefer for that scene directly in here. I have to assign a trigger as well, or I do not have to assign, but I can assign it, and I will do it now. I also can launch scenes just by using the visualization. So, and now let me see, I have these two scenes, but as you can see here with that yellow star, they are also visible and the main on the home screen. And I will now just do a central off. And I will launch my TV screen. Probably first I will just run my blinds up. Oops, sorry. Otherwise, or they are not in the right position. Or they will not change because they are already there. Okay. Good. I will now launch my TV screen. I will click to it. And you can see, okay, the switching light is on. The dimming light is on. The blinds are on. And the heating also is active. I will go to my rooms, go to it, and here you can see these are exactly the settings which I have defined. So now I will use the living room off button. Yeah, you can see blinds up, heating off, everything is now in the dark mode. I will say in the off mode. Yeah, so, and again, if you want to run TV screen again, just click to it, heating again on, blinds going down, and so on. Yeah, that's how it works. But the nice thing that what I can launch now from my LUXORplay, I can also do it here directly from a push button. Here I have assigned the off scene, and here is the on scene. Yeah, and now also I can just call very easily these functions in a scene, via a scene and via push buttons. And this is a very nice trick, yeah, because you do not have to take care of all the different functions one after each other. Just with one click you can do it all together. And now, so what I do not like, and I would like to, in the living room, that in my TV scene, in my TV scene, that the ceiling light is on. This should be off in that scene. So I will just go here to that icon. I will click here and say I would like to modify the scene. Then I will deassign it from that scene. I will switch off that light. And I will switch it on. I will activate it. And now you also just can remove it from that scene. And then the light will stay as it is. Yeah. So I will give you an example. First I will switch everything off, as you can see here. And now I will switch on, for example, my ceiling light. And now when I'm launching my TV scene, then you will see all the other functions are activated, but that ceiling light will be switched off. Yeah. So also the off function could be parameter of a scene. Very, very nice and very good to use. So these are, yes, some information about scenes. Another use case, for example, would be you would like to have a scene for blinds. Yeah, you have here all blinds down, and you say the participants. So that's this one, and this should be then 100%. Then I have blinds in the bedroom. And I would like to have another scene with blinds up. And I say here that's 0%, and bedroom blinds also 0%. And now with these two functions, which I have just, I've implemented a function which I can use just to close all the blinds in parallel with one click. For example, I want to close all the blinds in my building. And also I would like to open all blinds in the building. Then I say blinds up and it works. So although they are in different rooms, I can use that as a central command. And even, yes, some kind of central commands I can also implement with these scene functions. Okay. What you also, for example, can do, as you can see here, there is that clock icon. If you say, okay, all blinds down, I would like to have a time switch behind it and say, okay, every evening at, I will say, 9 o'clock, the blinds will be closed. And if you have assigned it to Twilight functions by using the brightness information from the weather station, you can, for example, open then the blinds via in the morning via sunrise information. Okay, good. Next step will be that I would like to introduce few things about the automatic functions, sun protection. That's something what I have already mentioned. So you can, if you want to do a shading of a specific facade of your building, which is to the south or to the west, to the east, it depends on the sensors here. You can also define here the thresholds. But you have to activate in LUXORplug also then that sensor information for that blind. If you want to modify the thresholds, you can very easily just do it also here in LUXORplay. So for example, if the sensor front, that's typically to the south, if the brightness exceeds 60,000 lux, then the blinds will be closed or set to that value you define in LUXORplug. Or if you say, okay, in the west, here you say 30,000, or if you have a maximum value, say 50,000, for example, if you have a roof window. Yeah. If that function, sun protection, should be generally switched off, for example, during the winter time, because there you want to have that sun inside of the building, then you just remove that markers here and the sun protection is disabled until you really set it, the marker again. Then we have Twilight. That's also something what I've mentioned. Yeah, we have two different cases for the Twilight settings. One is for the switching function. For example, you have an outdoor light, which you just can switch off and on. For example, in front of the main entry of your building. Yeah, and if it's dark, getting dark, if the brightness is less than 10 lux, then here the lights will be switched on. If it's in the morning more than 10 lux, the lights will switch off. And then we have the same function as well for blinds. So for example, in the evening, we can say if it's less than 10 lux, the blinds will be closed. In the morning, if it's more than 10 lux, they are going up. And also you can mix it with timer functions in parallel, so you are here totally flexible. Please be aware, if you configure morning up, that especially in the summertime, it could become a little bit noisy around your house in the morning at 4, 4:30, or 5 o'clock, depends where you are, because sunrise is very early. And so I really recommend not to use that morning up function, at least not during the summertime, so that you define a fixed time via a timer function for the blinds separately. That will also work, and this is really very useful. Next part is the holiday. So we have here, for example, yes, the holiday function. You want to have, or you would like to give the impression that somebody is really in your house, although you are on vacation, you are away, but lights will be switched on and off. The blinds are going up and down and a few other things. And this is what LUXORliving will do for you automatically. And so, for example, for the corridor light, this is, for example, something where you also might be available, or which you use during the night. Then you can activate it and you can set it. And we have two different profiles. One profile is for a light in the passageway, like that corridor, or light in the lounge. So light in the passageway is more designed for rooms or corridors also, where you just walk through or be just for a few minutes. You define here when should it start, either while after sunset or at a fixed time. If it should pause between a specific time and when it ends. So you just have to say, okay, it should start as sunset, it should stop after sunrise, it should not pause during the night, and you say, okay, the delay might be 20 minutes, might be 0 minutes, or 1 minute to 30 minutes after it starts the simulation, and the duration of the light will be between 3 minutes and 10 minutes. And it should repeat. Yeah, or probably I will say here 120. Then it's not too often. That's, for example, I will say repeat for the passageway, and for the, I will say, for example, you are here in the dining room. There we are quite often, and you would like to use that light here for a launch. Then you can say also it should start after sunset. It should probably pause. It should run after sunrise. And here are the delays. No repeat. It will just switch on after sunset once. And then the lights are on between 2 hours and 4 hours. Then it will get switched off and it will stay off. Yeah, till the next morning. Very easily, just use one of the profile, or you can completely do a user-defined, do it in a user-defined way. That's also up to you. And when you leave your home for a few days, just do here an activation, and here again that two-stage slider or activation, and now it's running, and it will switch on and off the corridor light and the dining room light on and off. But also it will work, for example, for blinds. Also the blinds you can then open and close in that present simulation. So we have some links. For example, you would like to start a specific application or a specific link for your door opening system, or you have another web page you would like to launch by using here a specific link and from LUXORplay. Then you can just do it via plus and say here, for example, I have here right now just my Fritzbox. Here in the network, I have to enter here in here. I go back. I have added here, and when I'm clicking now to it, it will just launch the Fritzbox, and I can log on to Now let's go back to that LUXORplay. Also, something which many people do not know, you can also rename any icons or choose other icons just by clicking this pen. Click here, then you can choose another color. You can choose here another icon. And that's it. And then it will be visible and available for all the others as well. So one last part which I would like to show. This is the user administration. So I do have here in my rooms, for example, also one room which is Ben's room. And this nice little guy also would like to control his room, but he should not have the permissions to control the complete building. So I will create a user account for Ben. Say user administration, I say I will add a new user. I say that's Ben with Ben as a password. I say add, and then he cannot activate holidays. He can enter time switches, because probably he also would like to do that. He is not allowed to use panic, but also is also not allowed to do the central off function. But he can run his own room, and also he should have the permission for the living room. And he is allowed to run the TV scene and the living room off. And now I will log out, and say, okay, a moment, I will close it completely, and now I will start LUXORplay again. And now, due to the fact that I have now multiple users, I am asked which user would like to use. I will use Ben and with his password. And say, yeah, okay, and say login. And now he sees these two scenes, but he does not see all the scenes, just these two scenes which I have allowed for him. And he just sees the living room and his own room. Yeah, and he can control also via his app the room, but he cannot control the kitchen or the dining room or the bedroom of the parents, whatever. So I can limit that. This is also, for example, a nice use case if you have a small restaurant and the waitress should not be allowed to control the temperature, but only the lights, and also that's something how you can set it up and so restrict permissions for a specific group of people who can only do one specific functions. Okay, yeah, I think these are most of the functions which I wanted to show you in LUXORliving using LUXORplay. I've shown you most of that what's really important. Now I just can wish you, okay, try, play with it and use it. It's really very nice and very handy, and it's so easy to create, and it's very flexible to set it up, especially if you are thinking about the scenes. I really like that function really very much because yes, it's so flexible, and you can set and create your own functions in a very easy and very simple way. So I just would like to say thank you for your time. Thanks for joining, and yeah, see you next time. Bye.